Hello everyone, I'm here. Today I will read you a story about a man who wanted to destroy his wife's friendship with a woman. The author of this story is from Russia. There were no problems in my life. Well, maybe except one. At least that's what I thought. You see, I always thought of myself as someone who could keep everything under control. I had a stable job, a house, a wife, friends, the picture of a perfect life. But inside me there was a kind of greed, a hunger to always have more than what I already had. I didn't realize that this greed would be the beginning of the end. My wife had a best friend. Her name was Alina. She often came to our house, and the two of them could spend hours talking, laughing, sharing their stories. At first I paid no attention, but one day I noticed the way Alina looked at me, just a little longer than usual. Those glances repeated, and soon they became a silent game, both of us understanding that we were walking toward something forbidden. It started with messages, harmless texts late at night, and then it grew into secret meetings. I kept telling myself it was only passion, that it had nothing to do with my love for my wife. But with every meeting I sank deeper into this lie. One day I went home early and found Alina in my bed. I was shocked. I couldn't speak. Then she got out of bed, and we stood there facing each other like enemies. She was crying. I was angry. "Why are you with your friend?" I asked. "Why are you doing this to me?" "I don't know," she whispered. "I just feel good with you. I'm sorry." But I wasn't ready to forgive her. I told her to leave, to never come back. She nodded obediently, but the next day she was back again, bringing flowers and excuses. This time my wife answered for her. "Leave us alone. Don't ever contact us again." But Alina only laughed. "You'll be back. You always come back," she said, winking at me. Then she left. After that, I tried to avoid my wife. How could I look her in the eyes after what I'd done? One evening, she still suggested we invite Alina over. I agreed, not feeling any danger. Maybe I thought I could handle it. That evening, she set a beautiful table, played music, and everything seemed almost ordinary until she suddenly stood up, looked straight at both of us, and said, "I know everything." My heart dropped. I tried to explain, but my words sounded pathetic. Alina stayed silent, staring at the floor. My wife, however, smiled, but it was a cold, cruel smile. She took out her phone, put it on the table, and pressed play. There it was, a recording of my messages to Alina, every word, every phrase. In that moment I realized she had known for a long time, and had been patiently waiting for the right moment to strike. She didn't scream, she didn't make a scene. Her revenge was much more precise. She calmly said she had already filed for divorce, that the house and accounts would be divided, and that the reputation I had worked so hard to build would now collapse. Then she turned to Alina. "Do you really want to be with him? Are you sure you won't regret it?" Alina stayed silent, but the way she looked at me spoke volumes. My wife continued, "If you truly love him, then take half of our things. The rest is mine." I felt humiliated. Don't think I don't know how this story ends. You'll be alone, betrayed, and abandoned. He'll throw you away like yesterday's news, just like he did with me. With that, she took out a thick envelope from her purse, handed it to her and said, "This is half of our savings. Think carefully before you decide to break up a family." Alina was crying. She begged my wife to forgive her, to forget everything, but she didn't budge. "No, it's too late. I was too naive. I thought you were my friend. I trusted you completely. Now see for yourself what kind of person I chose as a friend." Then she left. The door slammed shut behind her, and the silence that followed was deafening. I wanted to tell my wife I loved her, that I didn't want this, but the words caught in my throat. It was too late. Everything was ruined. A few days later, I learned that my work also knew everything, because it was my wife who had sent my boss the messages, hinting that I had an unstable personal life and honesty issues. I understood then that she had planned her revenge for a long time. The divorce proceedings dragged on for another 6 months. We signed the papers in February. By then, I was already renting a small apartment and working in a different city. When it was all over, I called Alina. I wanted to thank her, to tell her I was grateful, but she didn't pick up the phone. She changed her number. I found her on social media and sent her a message, but it remained unanswered. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. One day, as I was sorting through some old things, I came across a box filled with Alina's letters. They were all love letters. I reread them, hoping to find an answer to why she did what she did. Why did she risk her friendship with my wife, her family, her reputation? Suddenly, the last letter caught my eye. I opened it and saw a drawing of a ring. Underneath it was written, "Forever yours, Lena." So she had planned everything. She had been planning it for a long time. I felt betrayed, angry, and most of all, sorry for my wife. She deserved so much more than what I gave her. 6 years have passed since then. Recently, I ran into a mutual friend. I asked about them, about my ex-wife and her best friend. The friend was surprised. "You don't know? They're married," he said. "Really? How?" "Well, apparently Lena left town after your divorce. Then she reappeared and met an old flame of hers. A year ago, they got married, and now they live in France." I felt a strange mix of emotions. On the one hand, I was happy for them. I wished them happiness, but on the other hand, the pain of losing my wife still lingered. As I watched them leave, I couldn't help but wonder what my life would have been like if I hadn't been consumed by greed. Would I still be married to my wife? Would we be living happily ever after? Or maybe it was all just a dream. Maybe it was meant to be this way. Maybe my wife was right when she said I would be alone, betrayed and abandoned. Looking at their happy faces, I realized I would never know. In the end, my wife didn't shed a single tear, not during the divorce or afterward. She didn't beg or plead. She didn't try to justify herself or explain. She simply walked away, taking with her the last shreds of my dignity. She erased me from her life so thoroughly that now it's as if I never existed. My revenge was not in shouting or drama. Her revenge was in silence, in cold calculation, and in the fact that she stripped away everything and left me only with myself, a man I no longer recognized. That is the end of the story. First of all, I want to say that such stories are just made up. All these characters are fictional and do not exist in reality. Secondly, the author of this story is from Russia, so maybe that's why he wrote a story where the main character acts like a real villain, destroys his own family, and doesn't even feel remorse about it. Do you think he deserves to be punished like that? Let me know in the comments. If you liked this story, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Thank you very much for watching and see you soon. Bye.